morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of voice radio, so today I am showing you a deck with which I just got 2 top 4s at League Cups over the weekend, losing some close and heartbreaking games. A deck which I think is very, very good at the moment. Definitely one of the best decks in the format at the moment, and should remain good going into our Forbidden Light legal tournament. It is Turbo Metals, and it is all based around Dusk main Necrozma. Dusk main Necrozma, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best attackers we've got in the format at the moment. It can be played with Magnezone, it can be played with Metagross. Some people are playing it in a much slower list with Garbodor. I think it's best played in this particular deck, which I'm going to explain to you as we go along. Now, it's got 190 HP rather than 180, and this is absolutely crucial. It means a Metagross with a Choice Band won't get a KO. It means a Tapu Bulu will only get a KO if it gets a Choice Band. It means a Gardevoir needs 7 combined energy to get a KO rather than 6. There is a huge amount of difference between 180 and 190 at the moment. Being over in 190 is huge. Now, Claw Slash for 60 for free energy is fine. You'll use it occasionally. It's actually really good for, say, using a Guzma and taking out stuff like Rockruff, which I did many, many times this weekend. But mostly it's there just for the odd cheeky KO like that. What is really good about this deck is twofold. If you got free energy and you go behind on prizes, for free energy you do 250 damage. But only if you're behind on prizes. You then add a 4th energy, you do 220 and discard the free energy. So your first Dusk main Necrozma should go like this. Fall behind on prizes, 250 for free energy. Most decks won't be able to get a one-hit KO. Then you add a 4th energy and you rock. Let's say you're against something like Zoroark Lycanroc, one of the very best decks in the format at the moment. They're going to use Dangerous Rogue GX at some point during the game to take a KO, or they're going to use Zoroark. As soon as they do, you use Sun's Eclipse for 250. As soon as they've used Dangerous Rogue, they can't get a one-hit KO. You then take prizes 3 and 4, and as long as you've got one more Dusk main Necrozma going, you're off and rolling. Now, you will have games where your opponent just refuses to take the first prize. That's fine. If your opponent isn't taking the first prize, just build up free Dusk main Necrozma on the bench, and then just take 3 KOs in succession and win the game. Now, there are 2 main ways we're accelerating energy here. Firstly, Solgaleo Prism Star. Solgaleo Prism Star is amazing. You can only play 1 in your deck, so cross your fingers and hope it isn't prized. Now, the attack here, 4 energy 160, is pretty good. It can take out pesky non-GXs like Garbodor, for instance, but if you had a Choice Band on there, then you will be taking out things like Buzzwole GX or an opposing Dusk main Necrozma in one hit without having to use a Dusk main Necrozma, so it's actually a viable attacker in that respect. But mostly here, it's Radiant Star. For each Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field, search your discard for a metal energy and attach to your Pokemon in any way that you like. If you have a decent game here, what you can do is get 4 or 5 energy in the discard turn 1 and accelerate 4 or 5 energy on the first turn of the game. And then, of course, your opponent probably won't one-hit KO 160 HP single prize Pokemon because they can't use Choice Band to do more damage. And then you're probably going to be able to do this twice. And if you can set up enough energy, you're going to win. The other thing we play here is Max Elixir. Max Elixir is extremely important. We play 15 basic energy. You should hit your Max Elixir, especially in the early game, and because you can run through your deck quite quickly, one thing I was able to do on more than one occasion is get late in the game and guarantee that I hit a Max Elixir because I had fewer than 5 non-energy remaining in my deck. And that really is the basics of the deck here. It is all about getting Dusk main Necrozma set up using Max Elixir and Solgaleo Prism Star. Now, there are a bunch of other Pokemon we play here. We do play 1 copy of Registeel, my boy Registeel. Now, partly this is because if Solgaleo Prism Star is prized, You can use Registeel to accelerate energy, only one per turn, so it's not as good. But also, you can use this to just get a one-hit KO on something like a Ralts or an Alolan Vulpix while accelerating energy. And actually, we play Mew here, and Mew can copy this. If Mew copies a Registeel with a Choice Band on, you're doing 120 to a Buzzwole while accelerating energy. That's pretty sweet. Mew is good for a lot of reasons. One thing you can do is just leave energy on the Mew and copy Duskmane Necrozma's attack or Cabalion's attack or whatever. Or you can actually use Mew to copy Solgaleo Prism Star. Firstly, hopefully meaning you'll have Solgaleo Prism Star for later in the game. And secondly, it's more likely your opponent will end up taking the first prize early if you leave a Mew in the active. It comes down to the game whether you want to use Mew and have it KO'd early, or whether you'd rather use Solgaleo Prism Star and get more energy on the field. I mentioned Cobalion then. Cobalion is very important because, firstly, you've got Quick Guard, which can buy you a turn. Gives you immunity against basic Pokemon, although Guzma often ruins that plan. But Revenge Blast for 2 energy, 30 damage plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent's taken. Really good against decks that are weak to metal, like Gardevoir or Sylveon. It's also really good against Buzzwole if you use Mew to copy it. And if your opponent takes 5 prizes, you do 210 with a Choice Band. If they take 4 prizes, you do 180 with a Choice Band. Tapu Lele. So you can take some big KOs here. It's very much a late game attack, but it can absolutely win you games. We play 1 copy of Mr. Mime because Buzzwole's everywhere and we don't want them hitting the bench. We play 1 copy of Oranguru because it's your only extra draw support. You need to be playing it. We cannot justify playing Octillery here, so we play Oranguru. And then we play Tapu Lele because, Tapu Lele. It searches out your supporters. It's pretty important. In terms of energy, 15 basic metal energy, very, very important, because, like I say, you need to be hitting your max elixir. But the other thing is, you need to be getting energy in the discard early game for Solgaleo Prism Star or maybe Registeel. Now, if we look at the trainers here, we're not playing much Shuffle Draw. We're playing 4 Sycamore, 2 N, 2 Cynthia. And the reason here is, Turn 1, ideally here, you want a Sycamore. The ideal situation is getting 2 or 3 energy in hand and then playing Professor Sycamore to discard the energy. To that end, we're not playing any Bridget. We don't need to play any Bridget because we're not trying to get our basics out turn 1, especially if we go second. We're trying to get Solgaleo in the active, some energy in the discard, and then obviously an energy on Solgaleo. And the entire deck is built around that. To that end, we play 4 Ultra Ball and 2 Nest Ball. We don't want to be playing Bridget, but we still do need to get all of our Pokemon out. That's where Ultra Ball and Nest Ball come in. We do play 4 full copies of Floatstone, and again, it's all about getting Solgaleo Prism Star working. I lost my top 4 game on Sunday this weekend because I needed a Floatstone to retreat after time had expired in sudden death in a top 4, and I couldn't draw one. Annoyingly, I drew 2 cards off an Oranguru, and it was the 3rd card in my deck, and that's how I got eliminated. Hashtag still salty. But you need Floatstone here to get your Solgaleo Prism Star or Mew or whatever you want into the active turn 1. And then there's just a whole bunch of one-offs. We play, well, except for the 4 Max Elixir, but we've talked about them. We play 1 copy of Palpad, partly to make sure we've got many Guzma during the game, and partly so that if we do have to Sycamore something early, we can get it back. Oh yeah, obviously we play 4 copies of Guzma, because this is a deck where you really want to be picking off your opponent's Pokemon. You don't want them building up something on the bench that can KO a Duskmane Necrozma. 4 Guzma allow you to be proactive. We play 1 copy of Town Map, which is actually really important because you do play a bunch of one-offs in this deck, and you do play a lot of energy, and sometimes just grabbing an energy from the prizes so that you've got enough for next turn can be big. We play 1 copy of Skylar because sometimes you need to search out that Floatstone or that Field Blower or whatever. And then this is where it changes ever so slightly. On Saturday, I played 2 Choice Band, 1 Field Blower, And on Sunday, I played 2 Field Blower, 1 Choice Band. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure which is better. Field Blower is really important because Parallel City is so devastating to this deck. But Choice Band's really important because if something like Golisopod uses an armor press, then you're going to need to do this. Or if you come across a Metagross, you're going to need to do this. So I like 2 Field Blower, I like 2 Choice Band. The deck originally came from Scot Symonds, who did win a League Cup with this upcountry. And I made a slight change. I cut down to 2 Tapu Lele, partly because I really didn't want to start with it, and partly because I only have 2 at the moment. But I wouldn't have played a third if I had it. I do like the 2 Tapu Leles here. If you start with Tapu Lele and your opponent drops a Parallel City, that's very, very bad. If you start with Tapu Lele, have to use a Tapu Lele, and then your opponent drops a Parallel City before you filled up your bench, you probably lost the game. So yeah, it's Scott's list. The only thing I did was cut a Lele for a Choice Band / Field Blower. Michael Hill actually won the League Cup on Sunday using not the exact same list, but the same deck. I would have faced him in the final, but, you know, still salty. It's a good deck. It served me well. My overall record in Swiss over the weekend was 6 wins and 3 draws. There was no top cut on Saturday, unfortunately, and on Sunday, I lost in top 4 by a single card. But these things happen, ladies and gentlemen. I played a very good opponent who played very well, and quite frankly, I didn't play as well as I should have done in top 4 anyway. It's a very difficult deck to pilot. What to bench, where to put your energy, etc. Decisions you make can lose you the game in 4 turns time before you've even realised. And although I call it Turbo Metals, it's a really slow deck. But it's a lot of fun. I encourage you to try it. Obviously, Forbidden Light is about to become legal, so it means you're not going to be able to play this exact list, but B-String is going to make this deck even better than it is at the moment. As for how to make space for the Beast Ring, that, ladies and gentlemen, is entirely up to you. I'm thinking of dropping a Mime, dropping a Mew, and just sticking on 1 Choice Band, 1 Field Blower, and then adding in 3 Beast Ring that way. That's the way I would think I'm going to be building the deck when Forbidden Light is legal. Don't sleep on this deck, ladies and gentlemen. It has a chance to be up there with decks like Ultra Necrozma and Buzzwole when Forbidden Light is legal. So check it out, give it a playtest. And of course, while you're here, do make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. And do check out my video game / Dragon Ball Super channel, Wassy Plays, for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.